Blockchain Basement family, good afternoon from my living room. I have the Christmas tree going, all the gifts going, and I'm snooping around the charts. Got the family in town taking care of the nuggets for me as I have this beautiful cup of coffee. Type a W in chat because we are alive. It's a win to be alive, people, and it's a win to have a community like this. What is up? How you doing, Dion? Good morning, Nicole. DeFi, crypto, and airdrops. Big interview he's talking about doing January, which I'm really looking forward to. Huge grab on that, dude. Tilt, no guilt. What do we got here? Black ice. Nothing drives me crazier than black ice. Am I right? Now we got sufficient enough. Web3 me. All my people. I just want to take some time and acknowledge everybody that makes this channel what it is. It's morning to the ladies. Brandon, Mr. Rochburns, all the people. Let's get into it. I do have a couple trades that I had to put stop losses at entry points. They've moved my direction. Maybe I kill them. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm just here having fun. So I got a Bitcoin long going in from 87.2. It's barely moved from where it's at. So I did, as I said, put my stops at entry on both the Bitcoin and Solana long, farming some points on VDEX, doing my thing on 2-bit, feeding the quant, trading on 2-bit. And if you want to get the quant fed, doesn't require much, but man, he keeps us in the profits. Trade on 2-bit. Supporter of the channel, partner of the channel. We got the crypto basement, chilling in the crypto basement. Now, I was checking out some new houses too, with really badass basement studio setups. I'm super, super excited about that. Have some Baileys in that coffee. You know, I like Jack Daniel's cinnamon a lot. I do. Look at how I'm getting gray too. Look at this, what this bull market has done. Even though I've made money in 2025, it still is, it's worn on my soul. I've had to leverage trade to make my money this this last year. So, you know, it is what it is. Tether's been one of my favorite altcoins, but I do have a couple altcoins that I feel good about. All right. And I label this the top crypto projects that I am buying in 2026. And there are crypto projects out there that have my attention, that I feel like the metrics look strong. But there are many that I think will probably experience new lows, right? So it's not going to be all systems a go. Well, you know what? America needs Isaac Crypto Stevo, and you know this. That young man, he's excited to be in the military. And, you know, he'll be back when he can. He might actually have a chance to pop into the studio, but I expect him to spend as much time with his family as humanly possible. You guys are showing it. He is it's so cool to see a young lad like that grow up. But if you can, give me a follow on X, right? We do have a lot of things to go over on the show today. So we have good data, bad Bitcoin price. We're going to talk about the real Grinch who stole crypto Christmas, and Trump's golden fleet that's been announced, a new major advancement for the naval forces in the U.S., and a very systemic change to the way that companies involved with the military industrial complex can utilize their profits. Very, very interesting move by Trump and the administration, kind of a 6D chess move like I'm used to seeing him do. And also, we're got to talk about this. This is a little bit crazy, but the biggest coronal hole on the sun in this century, the biggest coronal hole of the 21st century is opened up on the sun right now. We're in a geomagnetic storm level. I think it's like a G1 magnetic storm right now. Don't want to see a G5 again. If you remember the Aurora Borealis being visible across the country, that was more of a G4, G5 level solar storm. So we're going to be talking about that. And plus California, most of the state of California is under a flood watch right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of being a prepared man or woman for your family, just in case all hell breaks loose. Because you know what? I think I'm surrounded by a little bit too much complacency bias, and that makes me worried. Smash the likes. That's right, Silver Days. Smash the likes. Don't get complacent. Smash those likes. I like these shows. Nice. And you know what? The next house, I'll probably have a bunch of shows in the new studio there. So here's the crypto market. Not so great, right? Looks like Christmas lights, but it's not. It's mostly red. across the board. It's not feeling good. The only things I see up are USD1 and USDE. That is a bad day for crypto if the only things that are up are stable coins. But you know what? I got a little bit of a wild hair, and I was looking at the chart. I was feeling that there was some uppiness in this chart potential for Bitcoin, and then I went after Solana. And like I said, I mean, where the green line is, that's my entry and also my stop. Let it go my way because I got to host the show. You know what I mean? But we came back down and actually tapped perfectly on that downward trend line. And now we're actually trying to make a move up from it. If you notice this, which is kind of exciting, that's one of the more bullish scenarios I had in mind leaving yesterday with is, we broke out of this downward trend line. It only makes sense to come back down and test that bad boy. So on the test, I did take a move. I think the position, so I got like position value on Solana is about 31K, and then Bitcoin, I don't know what the position value is on this. Let's see. I think it's about 30K too. So 230K trades. We'll see if it makes a move or not. If it washes back down to this, then the stop loss hits flat line. Don't lose any money. Stop losses have been my friend, and I know a lot of people poo-poo on them, but you know what? It's either use a stop loss or trade with 1 or 2% of the trading portfolio, and the trading portfolio should only be up to 5% of your entire portfolio, right? So got a G5 in my pants right now. Shout out to that. Grinchy. Yeah. That's being a Grinch sometimes is more useful than anything. I feel like sometimes it's a crazy world out there, and you don't want to fall for every narrative that comes across the sun. Also, good morning, the arena. Yeah, we got the arena coming in, not financial advice, tipping us some Avalanche tokens. Thanks, bro. Yeah, good to see you guys start to butt up, and if you can share the stream out. I want to turn this channel into one of the biggest, if not the biggest, arena show as well. I like Crypto Social 5, so support the channel. I'm here supporting you guys. Now let's take a look at coin market cap. 2.96 trill on the market cap in total, firmly in Bitcoin land, and the fear and greed at 29, right? So it's definitely, people are feeling scared, and I can understand why. It's, for me personally, when I see dumps like this, I get a little bit excited, get a little bit greedy, I get a little bit greedy, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I get greedy and I buy lows and then I sell highs. That's kind of the mixture here. Aerodrome, decent buy right out of the gates. You know what? Systemically, Aerodrome is there for the base ecosystem. It's a victim of the larger altcoin market for sure, and it's tapping 2 points that were very, very strong support. But anything in the 35 to 50 cent region is a snag for me, in my personal opinion, right? And this is obviously not financial advice. I am up here publicly talking about trading the most volatile asset class on the planet, and I do it with my balls on the table. So that's what I'm kind of seeing for Aerodrome there. And I'll go back to these trades. Let's see here. I just might want to clip these for profit so I can just pay attention. Oh God. And this is the pain, right? I'm pretty damn good at finding good entry points and getting the positions, not losing money. Not losing money trading is the first lesson that you must take. Yeah. Oh, no one likes accountability, right? No one likes accountability. Accountability is, something that you need, especially in crypto. If you don't have accountability and just have the willingness to take the hit on the chin, if your trade was wrong or if the product you bought was wrong and the price didn't just go your way, you just got to take it on the chin, right? It is what it is. It's like, it's something that is difficult for people to do because, they want their theory and their thesis to be correct, but we're not correct all the time in anything, right? No one can be correct all the time in anything. It's just about moving with your gut. Now, GDP for the quarter 3 of the U.S. rose to 4.3%, higher than expectations. The markets felt pretty good about this. Wall Street felt even better about this. We'll see if it translates over to crypto, but it's still being seen massive growth in the economy, but massive amounts of job losses, right? They talk about how great the economy is while literally just leaving actual humans out of the equation. This is the backwards land that we live in now. Last two major alt seasons, 2017 and 21, started when the ISM was above 55. Now, if you look at the chart, last three GDP readings resulted in 4 to 5% short-term corrections. Bitcoin pumped higher afterwards. So, seeing the good GDP data over the last, say, year has initiated kind of a short-term pullback with a larger rally afterwards. I'm taking this with a grain of salt, right? Because we've already had we've been beat to all hell into this zone, straddling right above the cost to mine Bitcoin right now. So, in general, I'm kind of just flowing with my own charts. And, I had a general point of interest in Bitcoin buoyancy right here that I'll extend. I created this expectation last week, and it's actually played out pretty correctly. So this is kind of my process is I'll lay out what I think is going to happen, see a little bit of the action happen, and not jump in the moment that we get into the box, just see another nice liquidity sweep to the downside, a point of confluence with hitting this trend line. And now I'm in two different positions that have a decent chance to actually make some real money. And I don't have to stress about it by raw dogging it without any protection and using stop loss. So Michael Saylor talking about this is some hopefully not, but it seems a little foreshadowy. You got me a chia pet of Sam Bankman-Fried. Oh Lord. Oh, I would water that. I would water that, good sir. That is funny. Oh, Sam. Oh, Sam. At least things pumped. At least things pumped. Oh shit, Nicole Minnis Tater coming in and tipping at some avalanche as well. I'm not sure where Matthew is. I'm sure he's sleeping and stuff. This is how he'll stay up all night trading and being all nuts. Matthew it's almost like his life's mission to beat me in the VDEX volume airdrop farm competition that we have going on between each other. So, it is what it is. And he makes bigger moves in the middle of the night. I wake up and he's traded $6 million in volume. I'm like, you son of a bitch. And it's a fun little dynamic me and him have going on right now. But he very well could wake up randomly and call me in the middle of the show and get me on stage. It happens all the time. So, that's the chaos that I live with. And I absolutely love that guy. Now, what do you guys think about this Michael Saylor post? Do you think he's kind of foreshadowing that we are going into a bear market? Or is he just kind of trolling? You know what I mean? And it's anyone's guess. Like even the best technical analysts on the planet right now are quite confounded by the current situation, not only macroeconomically, but now you have that new X factor, which is crypto markets, which are clearly here to stay. And Paul Atkins had some extremely bullish comments about crypto that we're going to be bringing up as well. That's actually something that's likely to happen within the next 2 years, which is insane to think about. But you know what? I'm here for it because we're positioned ahead of all this stuff, right? That's the fun in it is we're buying crypto projects that are speculative, they're disruptive. And if they do take a hold in the grander scheme of things, we make an ass ton of money, right? That's kind of the fun in crypto. But this is not fun. Crypto tax software Coinly had a potential email address leak due to third-party service provider breaches and reassures users we do not share any wallet, transaction, tax, or portfolio data with Mixed Panel. But this is the bullshit that we deal with. It's like we are basically threatened at gunpoint to pay taxes to a government that's largely ran by pedophiles. And then we give them our information, and the Coinly organization has their data leaked. This is why the system of the current internet infrastructure is rotting, and the move to a Web3 environment where our data is actually protected is a great thing to work towards as an industry, but we got a lot of work to do. Let's see here. Dom Bits. I want to check it out. Are you looking at Ondo? No. Oh, you're guessing that my picks. You're guessing my picks are Ondo, Lincoln, Solana. Well, wrong, sucker. Gotcha. Wonder why. It's funny people's assumptions about what I think too. Right? It's funny that you have just these built-in assumptions because of what the other influencers are saying and things of that nature. It's absolutely incredible. No, I continue to make money. Made money all the way through 25. Great money in 24. Made an ass ton in 2021. And I'm going to continue rinsing and repeating that process. Welcome to the place where we make money in crypto. So let's take a look at this. This is Trump talking about the Golden Fleet as well. Some sort of major advancement to Navy ships here in the U.S. Let's have a listen to this.
Wow, it's beautiful. It's the first renderings of what we're doing. So I want to wish everybody a big hello and Merry Christmas and welcome to Mar-a-Lago for this exciting announcement of the new Golden Fleet. We're calling it the Golden Fleet that we're building for the United States Navy. As you know, we're desperately in need of ships. Our ships some of them have gotten old and tired and obsolete, and we're going to go the exact opposite direction. We're delighted to be joined by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job, and Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan. Marco Rubio is here, who gave a great few words toward the end of last week. He spoke for a couple of hours on what a good job we're doing, which is true. As Commander-in-Chief, it's my great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You used to build the Iowa, the Missouri, the Wisconsin, the Alabama, many others. We had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100 times they'll be 100 times the force, the power, and there's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time.
Oh, wait, I was muted there. Sorry. I think that continuing the expansion of the military here in the United States is going to be extremely important over the next 10 years. We're going into a time frame where nation states are going to look to usurp the United States. And seeing the Trump move about the Golden Fleet, people are going to laugh. They're going to say, this is silly and stuff like that. But honestly, we really do need to bolster our military with what I feel is coming in my gut. And this is something interesting about the military builders and the companies is Trump on these prime contractors. Let's have a listen to this comment as well, because there's a lot to unpack here. This is a pretty big announcement, actually. This is actually bigger than the building.
We'll be discussing the pay to executives where they're making $45 and $50 million a year and not being able to build quickly. They're going to make that kind of money. They have to build quickly. Again, we make the best equipment in the world, but they don't make them fast enough. And we're going to be also discussing dividends. We want the dividends to go into the creation of production facilities. So we'll be talking about all CapEx, dividends, and the pay. We're also going to be talking about buybacks. They spend so much money on buybacks. They want to buy back their stock. I don't want them to buy back their stock. I want them to put the money in plant and equipment.
So he's dropping basically a hardline move to stop buybacks and to force these companies to expand their production infrastructure. These are movements made by nations before an intrinsic need to increase military infrastructure happens 5-10 years down the line. And there's a large amount of complacency bias that I run into when I talk about these subject matters, because They're like, oh no, there'll never be another great war, right? We've all got it figured out now. We're all going to figure out and get along because our economies are connected to each other, right? The globalization of economy is going to protect us from World War III. And I just absolutely disagree with that. I think it's retarded complacency bias that people get stuck in. And I want to shake us out of this and always think about these things and position ourselves accordingly so we can do the best we can for our families should a situation like that arise. We're talking about, this morning we wake up to good GDP data. Everything's hunky dory. It's great. Well, here's what the actual nasty reality is behind this is retail sales data. The release of this is going to be postponed till mid-January. New home sales data is postponed. Housing starts reported delayed to January 9th and scheduled. These were all data points that were scheduled for today, but instead they're hiding the information. And the market, single family market, at least in my local area and surrounding Atlanta, which is, one of the hotter markets right now, is locked up. There are houses that have been on the market for a year. They just keep taking the post down, putting it back up with 10, 15K shaved off of it. The housing market is seized up. And so they're not taking in this data and they're not releasing this data. On top of this, the government shutdown has created a big blind spot. That was a very, very long government shutdown that we just went through. So now the data and the points that the Federal Reserve uses to make monetary decisions, big ones for the largest economy on the planet, are completely blind, right? This is a very, very big problem. Yes, they can say the economy is doing good now, but these things do eventually come home to roost, right? And we're kidding ourselves if we don't think that way. And it's just about being cognizant, not being willing to be lied to by a ridiculous elite class. Now, this is coming out. Russia has evacuated some of their diplomats and their families from Venezuela. This is moving in the background. And tariffs from the U.S. onto China and the semiconductor movement is going to be zero until 2027. So there are some attempts to mend, right? America's like, okay, we're going into Venezuela, but look, China will treat you good. Now it's a matter of if China will sit down and play ball, right? And if they don't feel like it, if they feel like they're truly ready for American smoke, they will stand up and they will blockade Taiwan. And that is why the potential of it leads me to that monetary insurance policy that I set up yesterday that I went over on the show. So I won't go into the weeds with that. You can watch yesterday's show if you want to find out about that. So gold futures went to $4,500 an ounce. And now silver, I did also see silver hit $70 an ounce as well. Meanwhile, we have some products on the way down. So milk trading, lowest price in 2.5 years. So milk costs are taking a good haircut here, which is nice to see. Maybe that'll translate to the grocery store about 4, maybe 5 months from now. And also cheese prices falling to the lowest price in 5.5 years. So there are some actual data points that are getting better, which is nice to see. I got a lot of kids. They take a lot of food, and I feel that price. I feel that price on cheese, on milk. I swear to God, they go through I think they go through like 3 gallons of milk a week or something like that. And I have to get the A2 stuff. I got to get the fancy stuff. My wife is very health conscious, and it's a battle. It's definitely a battle. And are you guys, are food prices coming down where you're at, right? I feel like they've kind of flattened out. I was spending at a peak, like 2 weeks was like $650, $700. They've come down to like maybe $550, maybe $600, every 2 weeks or what have you. But in general, I feel like they haven't really they haven't come back down. I don't know if they ever will really come back down. Oh yeah, Johnny December is out in Belize. It must be cheap. It must be cheap. But Johnny's out there living the island dream. He's an island boy. Yeah, once you start, this is maybe my main point or my main problem. C90FTW is once you stop buying processed foods, food prices never come down. And that's like the good food is not getting cheaper. Like the cheap poison is getting cheaper. but the actual food's not getting cheaper. So it's a decision, and that's unfortunate because I know that some people are making that choice and that sacrifice. They're like, oh, I gotta feed them either way, so I guess we're gonna buy the food that's like literal poison, and that's what worries me. Yeah, organic milk, $12 here. Jesus. The Island Boys boxing, their boxing bout made me laugh. Their boxing bout made me laugh. It's just like so ridiculous. Yeah, so as the pressures in, the economy play, and I mean it's felt at a family level, and this is some interesting uh notes. Work is more depressing than unemployment for some Gen Zers, per the New York Times. And I've met a lot of Gen Zers. I feel like the ones that I've ran into have been pretty based, and they're like starting little businesses, and they're little hustlers. You know what I mean? Um, but I do wonder about the concept of what they call Bailon in China, where things get so depressing economically, the outlook of ownership of homes becomes so far out of reach that uh, uh, a practice of non-participation by lawn came into effect in China. And, I mean, it doesn't help the economy when your youth just don't feel like participating. That's a very, very bad sign. I do worry about that happening to American youth because the dream of owning a house is just getting pushed further and further out. And it's been reported, and I've reported on this long before the larger accounts started reporting, that they've been utilizing our tax dollars to keep those houses off the market. And now we have basically a blind spot in the housing market and how they're doing in general. So, it really makes you kind of wonder what the hell's going on with that. Let's keep rolling through these stories. So I got a lot of stuff to cover here. Let's move on to this one. This one I actually saw yesterday, but this is a big damn deal. The U.S. Department of War has entered an agreement with Elon Musk and XAI. They have now partnered up with XAI, and their deployment of advanced capabilities on the GenAI.mil is what they're moving towards. It's a rapid deployment of cutting edge AI across departments, 3 million military and civilian personnel. So it looks like more personal AI application, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some larger, big scale, closed door movements with this. And this is a continued buildup of partnerships with the top AI development firms on the planet. Um, it's we've seen Palantir, who one of the owners just bought like a Catholic church in Avon, Colorado, which is super weird because Peter Thiel like gives Satanist speeches at like conventions and shit. And they're out there buying churches. Really sketchy. AI is unstoppable. And really the time frame of it is, I really feel like XAI is, and Tesla in general, are probably one of the best asymmetric bets of the century. And I look at the chart of Tesla and I'm like, it's already taken off, and I'm all greedy because I got low entry points on crypto. But Tesla as a company really continues to stamp itself as here to stay. Yeah, they want to eliminate Christians. That's why it's exactly what came to my mind when I saw that. Yeah, St. Benedict's is located near Aspen, Old Snowmass, Colorado. Yeah, that story was super sketchy. Good morning, Julie. Good to see you. That story was super sketchy. Church is a great business investment. No tax implications. You ain't lying there. You ain't lying there. All right, let's keep rolling through this. But this is just further integration that a nationalization of companies is going to be part of America's future. And that's crazy and weird to say, but they're doing it in conglomerates with AI companies. We're likely going to see some kind of hybrid situation with Strategy and their Bitcoin holdings, 21 Capital. Uh, a lot of these bigger funds are probably going to find some form of the long arm of the U.S. government reaching itself around them with warm embrace and a strong hug over the next 10 years. So in crypto, it's been a battle. As I said, I've had to trade to make most of my money. Thanks for reposting the stream, Julie. Appreciate you. I got to come on your show sometime. Still, I got to get that set up. But 2025 has been difficult outside of trading and DeFi. And there's a lot of reasons why. But it's kind of funny looking at these flow graphs. Open interest is definitely on its downturn, but it does, in my opinion, the optimist sees the swoop to the upside in the open interest. Solana volume after Melania has absolutely collapsed. Thank you, Trump. Why couldn't he just stop his wife from doing that? Jesus. Pump fund revenue, not looking great. Not looking great. And then trading volume in general is taking a dip. People are kind of checking out. They're having a lot of, kind of reconsiderations of their investing strategy after 2025. And for me, I hold and I like Chainlink. There it would have to be pretty damn cheap Chainlink to entice me back in because my average buy is under $5 on Chainlink. And just for context of why I'm not squeamish and why I'm not so worried about it as I go on some of these crypto shows and these people just act like it's the end of the world. So just know that as a viewer, maybe you top blast it, but also a lot of the creators that I get on, they're like, scrambling to see Solana back above $250 so they can get out for a flat line. This is why never top blasting even things that we like the thing I just talked about with Tesla. Not top blasting anything helps me. So that's my general, that's my rule about crypto is just do not top blast, because then you'll be part of the crowd that's out there whining and complaining about potentially lower prices. Me, I get excited if I can see lower prices. I'm taking them. I'm taking those lower prices. And there was something that happened on October 10th that I think changed crypto's mindset. And this was highlighted by Nick Crypto. The reason 1010 was such a mask off moment is because it revealed that the thing standing between a token trading at some price and a token trading at zero was a market maker's bid, the worst kind of price discovery. But there is nuance to this as well, because you have some people that have a long-term vision of a project that say have a buy order at $1 XRP or $5 Chainlink if they should ever get it. That is the thing that makes me think about it. And I think moving forward into the next year, we have a pretty bullish landscape. This is SEC Chair Paul Atkins making some comments on the U.S. markets and when we could expect this to be all on chain. Let's have a listen to this.
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security. And so then that tokenized security is a security and would be subject to SEC rules by law. But the idea is that if it's on chain, on a blockchain, then there's much more transparency as to where it is. Right now, there's a bit of opacity as to who owns what and where the company usually doesn't even know where who its shareholders are and where the shareholders reside, where the shares reside. So tokenization has the benefit of potentially having, instead of T+1 now trade date +1 for clearance and settlement, the prospect of maybe T0 now, depending on the instrument. And we have to think about netting and all sorts of other things with respect to some instruments. But in principle, the idea of on-chain delivery versus payment and receipt versus payment, DVP, RVP on-chain, is a prospect of de-risking the markets, making them much more transparent and then sure as far as clearance and settlement, because it's always that the gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment is the real introduces risk into the system.
This is very interesting to think about. So he's seeing and he's talking about openly the transparency and the clarity that general markets can get from using blockchain technology. He's also highlighting that this is something that we could actually end up seeing the entire US economy being on chain in 2 years from now. Chad, I want to get your opinion. Is this even possible? I mean, cuz this is a huge goal, a huge ask to move the US market on chain. Just a simple yes or no if you think there's any chance in God's green earth that we see this actually happen. Big ask, you know what I mean? And this is seeing these things, it gets me to thinking like maybe we're just way more early than we think, right? October 10th was a reminder to me that, yeah, bro, you're still really fucking early to this. These concepts that are in my brain and the things that I'm investing into still seem so extremely early, especially after witnessing what happened on 1010. um there's a lot of market regulatory clarity and some things that are going to be done from US or regulators in tandem with the world as best they can with BRICS to try to get this under control so they can take advantage of the tech and get the benefits from it, not just kind of because it's only useful as a cash cow and washing the trades back and forth to State Street for so long. So this Ave situation has got me kind of concerned. People are just saying, Stani, please come to your senses. Clear Aave, what Aave token holders want. The only people defending Aave Labs are Aave Labs employees. If you want to deploy your own fintech products, that's fine. But Aave saving the app Aave should be owned by the DAO and exclusively benefit the Aave token. Personally, I think Aave Labs product building skills are still invaluable for the Aave protocol and hope you remain aligned to the future. Lito, a lot of concerns on Aave, and I don't hold Aave, but I cheer for it all the time because I want to see DeFi grow, and Aave is the biggest DeFi lender out there, right? So I cheer on the big one because Aave lending and the infrastructure that's been around it for quite some time is important for DeFi, but seeing these kinds of kind of chinks in the armor, so to speak, for Aave, give me great hope that the Morpho pick might end up being one of the bigger crypto plays in my portfolio because Morpho is right behind Aave, right? And this is a concept of I was going to see more flows into the Coinbase hoisted up apps. Morpho's not stuck to Coinbase, but it is definitely chosen by them, right? Yeah, it's smash the likes and share the stream out. I mean, it's everyone's out there taking care of their they're taking care of their travels. There's a lot of travel going on right now. So I am genuinely extremely appreciative that you guys come and join me on this. Just a quick rundown. I woke up today. I was like, I'm not sure if I should, but there's a lot of stuff I need to cover. XRP, the ETFs have actually had a green streak of 6 straight weeks. Cumulative inflows now exceeding $1.2 billion. Kind of insane that this price action doesn't convert to the chart, right? That's the price we pay for inviting the devil to bed, is that now they get a buy OTC. Now the price doesn't go up when you see massive streaks of inflows on ETFs. You don't get the party that should follow after all those buys. Where's the holster at? It's right actually above me. I actually, for today, I have the Safari Land IWB level 2. Even holsters that go on the hip, I make sure that they're a level 2, because what happens if you get your ass kicked while you got it on you? Now they got it, right? You have to have a level 2. Now let's talk about some crazy stuff in the world, right? I kind of talked about, and just to address Aerodrome, Morpho, the third coin that I would feel like buying if we get a further washout. I might top off. Top off Chainlink if we do experience more downturn, right? But really, if I had to think about it and put my stance out there, it's just Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Just get Bitcoin. Sorry to not be sexy, but Aerodrome, Morpho make a lot of infrastructural sense to me. And Bitcoin is on sale, right? What about Ondo? I got out of Ondo at $1 and I still haven't been convinced to go back into it. And like I sold a vast majority of the bag at 2, but I still had some dust around. And then I just, once we bounced our head on Ondo's dollar point, I could see the general market was starting to roll over, get a little bit of exhaustion. I just decided to sell it. Actually bought some firearms with it. So, I still got the firearms for the dollar on. Oh man, he's dumping his bag of ADA. Yeah, it's there's a lot of capitulation going on across the board. Linnea, I still hold. I like Linnea. Linnea is one that I would DCA, but I'm talking the top 3, like the biggest chunk of buys, not a $500 or $1,000 buy, the big ones, Aerodrome, Morpho, and Bitcoin. And then I'll have some smaller portfolio plays like Linnea for sure. Merry Christmas to you too, man. You're a member for 17 months. I appreciate that. Let's go back and check in on these trade Dizzos and see if we're still making money. Let's check it out. Hopefully. What do you guys think? Are we up or down? We're up. We're still up. And it did not go down on my stop loss. This is great. Like I said, the stop loss is right at the green zone there. Basically, the entry point. Since goes my way, put a stop loss tight. Keep it tight. Don't lose any damn money on your thesis. Merry Christmas to you too. Member for 16 months, sufficient enough out there on the great western plains of Colorado. We're looking for something in the RWA sector. Yeah, I know. Like the Ondo integration into the RWA sector makes me want to go back, but there's also a little chaos creature on my shoulder that says, hey, if you were NASDAQ and Wall Street, why wouldn't you just learn how Ondo is tokenizing things, hire the right people, and then do it yourself, right? And some of the ruthless of business tactics that I feel like are in the planet, are expressed especially strong on crypto charts. So, that's kind of my opinion of it. I am, I'm thinking about that. It's Christmas, top secret info you have on AVAX. I mean, I don't think it's top secret. You remember Colin was on the show and he explained it pretty clearly. And really, you just at a crescendo where basically Solana has kind of dominated and put its mark on the map in terms of degen activity, right? Memes or, a lot of different things. Avalanche was trying to be more proper, I guess is the right way to put it, and get integrated with RWAs, get integrated with kind of an infrastructural, layer 1 projects. And I've just seen a lot more attention shift back to Ethereum and DeFi in it, right? Like, and this is like the suits are here in crypto. The suits, right? We always hear that. The suits are here in crypto, and DeFi is it's definitely a big reason why the system likes crypto, and it's a big location where money's going to flow into, right? It sounded like he was whining the whole time. He wasn't whining. He just is a very I don't know how to describe it. He's very selective with his words, and it takes a lot of questions and reasons for him to come out like that. He's one of the people that actually was on the creation side of Avalanche, right? He's one of the creators of it. So I take his his approach to it pretty seriously. He's a very, very smart individual. He reminds me a lot of BJ. He does remind me a lot of BJ. So let's talk about some crazy stuff, though. This is absolutely nuts. So now there's 40 million people in California that are under a flood watch. This is some videos. But if you are in this location, basically a large chunk of California is under this flood watch. I do believe, maybe a higher amount of people in California have boats, but a lot of people inland do not have boats. If you guys are in California, if under this flood watch, just do pay attention for it. This is like, I prepare for, Yeah, I could see the arena chat. What's going on in the arena chat? Soul Killer, I see you, brother. I just got a lot of chats going on, and chat. We got a lot of people watching in general on all of our platforms. And if you're listening on X, on YouTube, on Rumble, on the arena, on Spotify, just go ahead, give me a like, give me a share. You know, I'm out here risking it for the biscuit on chain for you guys right before Christmas, and it's working out well. I've made like $700 on these trades since I've been yapping, but you know, I put my stuff out there on the line for you guys. So if you can do me the favor, give me the like. Now, this is kind of a crazy concept. Is Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, is now projected to win Minnesota governor in the primary election. Woo boy. My Pillow guy. Do you guys remember the lore of the My Pillow guy? This won't mean much to a bunch of people, I'm thinking out there, but there's definitely a lore behind the My Pillow guy and how the system literally tried to economically behead a guy that made pillows for a living and called out a lot of the misdoings of the U.S. government, what they got in the water up there. You have 4 My Pillows. You see, the chat knows. The chat was there. This trash, they didn't last long. You just buy more. Oh, the My Pillow guy. What a throwback that is, man. Shout out to Mike Lindell. Now, let me ask you this. If it seems like a lot of people know him, would you vote for him for governor? Does he seem like the right guy to govern Minnesota? Minnesota? You're propped up on one right now. Oh, yeah. Make sure you got your ugly sweaters also for Christmas, right? I got the Fajile out. I busted it out. It's a special time. Yeah, has conviction in his beliefs, that's for sure. Might as well sleep outside. Better than a tampon. Oh, I love this chat. Now, all right, so another big thing that yeah, tampon Tim Walz. Yeah, fuck that guy. I like the chaos of it. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene is kind of the district I'm in, so as you can get a bellwether for how unhinged people are out near the Alabama border here, myself included. I'm not saying I'm not. You know what? Sometimes reasonable societies must elect unreasonable leaders, right? Dude, bring back Jesse the Body Ventura. Oh my God. He was incredible. That we were kings. We were kings when Jesse the Body Ventura was a fucking. All right. So now this is pretty crazy. So we have the largest coronal hole of the 21st century being reported. This is Stefan Burns. He's a great resource for magnetic movements in the solar system and on Earth. He's a very good, I think he's an astrophysicist or something like that. He's very intelligent. So it's a gigantic coronal hole on the sun that looks eerily similar to Japan. Recently seen a flurry of earthquakes on November, and the observational data suggests the coronal holes influence Earth seismically. This is a very interesting kind of massive coronal hole that's opened up. You have lower plasma activity, lower temperatures inside of the hole, but it might turn into some more solar storms, which have affected a lot of communication systems when they hit. It was a G5. I think we were a G4 on the edge of a G5 storm when all the aurora borealis imagery was coming out all across the United States here. And this new movement there, Stefan's saying you better be wary of it. So in this instance, this is something that happened a while ago. You guys know the Carrington event. Things like that do happen. Solar flares, solar storms do happen. Sometimes they are very bad. It's just useful to have some things in what they call a Faraday cage or a Faraday bag. Let's see if anyone in the chat knows Faraday. Yeah, Philip, yeah. Faraday systems, just go look them up, and you can get large, small, but I have like a radio, some communication systems in there, things of that nature, just in case, right? Just in case. It's always good to be prepared. If the sun blew up, what goes to zero faster, Solana or Cardano? I'd say Cardano goes to zero faster than Solana. There's a lot of end of the world memes on Solana. They'd have liquidity up to the last second. I tell you what. Solana goes parabolic, obviously. Oh Lord, I love this community so much. And notice how we are such savages and the vibes are good is because I have a feeling most of us in the chat didn't top blast and are sitting in that pain. That's what I have a gut feeling of right now from how based this chat is. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people that avoided some pain out there. Yes, we've had to wait. Yes, it's been I didn't say they only have memes. I said they have a complete control of the larger meme market. I didn't say that by any degree, Web3. This is a time frame where I think it's important to look at the chains that you feel unequivocally that are going to exist in 26, 27, that have longevity, right? I think October 10th, the bodies floating up to the surface from that liquidity cascade event have not stopped. There are going to be more bodies. There are going to be more victims explained from that event. And it's just about what projects have longevity, long-term outlook. And, from everything in that, you can move accordingly. Obviously, it's the Christmas time, and me, myself included, I'm going to be very, very focused on my family because my family is the most important thing to me. You guys in the chat are up there, but it's God, family, freedom, crypto, and you guys are the crypto side. You are my community. So just stay based, stay focused, make sure, even if things have been difficult, we're in there. We're in the fire. Buying assets that are disruptive in a stagflationary event in the United States. We are going into absolute Thunderdome. I think the people that don't take risks are the ones that will end up losing the most over the next few years. And I'm staying focused on it. Yeah, guns is the freedom part of it, Soul Killer. Guns is the freedom part of it. Bent, not broken. We are in top 5. That's right. We are the top. We are the top. Yeah, and out of all the things that Solana has, obviously fees. I almost want to say the DeFi and memes, right? I feel like the DeFi and the memes are the most important thing out of Solana. If we see those AI agents continue and have another burst season, and these AI developers continue going rogue, and we end up with billions of AI agents, most of them being built on Solana, that would be another big aspect. And that's actually one of the strong potentials of Solana long term. But yeah, for now, I'd say it's DeFi and then memes. Memes are kind of dead. DeFi is just getting started. So there's a lot of growth across the board. There's a lot of growth for us as a family, as a community, as we trade these crazy times. Let's go back and see how much I'm up on these trades. What do I got here? All right, about $800. All right, not bad. I'm going to take the money. I'm going to focus on the family. I love you guys. And it's a new year coming right around the corner. Make sure that you are locked in whatever industry you think is going to be the big ones, because we cover crypto, nuclear industries, all kinds of different things, AI agents. So let me know what you guys think is going to be the biggest play of 2026, because obviously I talk about crypto a lot, but there's a lot of opportunity on the horizon. So love you guys. Stay based, be good to the family, and remember,
You are banned!